Steven Spielberg presents Gremlins. Billy Pelser has a nice home.
Billy, is that you?
Yeah, Mom, it's me.
A nice job. A nice girl.
If you're not doing anything this Thursday night, maybe you'd like to go out on a date with me?
I'd love to.
And loving parents who are about to give him
You're gonna like this. No, don't shake it. We're gonna have to open it now. It won't wait till Christmas.
the most unusual gift he ever got.
What is it?
No.
It's your new pet.
Come on, Barney, be a good dog. My dad gave it to me.
But there are a few things to keep in mind. If you expose it to the light, you may hurt it. If you get it wet, it will multiply.
All that from water? They got wet?
Yeah, plain water.
And most important, no matter how much they beg, never, never let them eat after midnight. Because when they do, they change. They become clever, mischievous,
What's going on here?
and dangerous.
Gremlins, huh? Little monsters.
Right.
Hundreds of them.
Well, I don't know, maybe thousands.
They've been here too. Billy, what are these things? Where do they come from?
Look, I know it sounds crazy, I know. But in a few hours, you're gonna have a major disaster on your hands.
Gremlins, directed by Joe Dante. They'll be expecting you.
Gremlins, Chapter 1, A Special Gift for Billy. What happened next was so quick that neither boy was able to stop it. Reaching across for Gizmo, Pete knocked over the jar of water that held Billy's paintbrushes. "Look out!" cried Billy. But already the water had splashed onto the mogwai's fur. Gizmo screamed and arched his back. Oh, no. The flex. Something had chewed through the cable. Gizmo was making sharp panic noises. And there, on the floor of the bedroom, were 5 large, scaly pods, each one covered in a sticky membrane. It was no longer a mogwai, but a gremlin, bent on destruction. Around him, the other cocoons were starting to crack open. Everywhere in the kitchen, hurling dishes, pots, and pans at her, and gorging anything that took their fancy. She backed against the wall as plates crashed around her. Furiously, she seized a knife and slashed the nearest gremlin. One of them went after the mixture in the food processor. Mrs. Pelser saw her chance and leapt for the button. With a loud whirr, the machine caught up the gremlin and sucked it in. "I'll teach you to mess up my kitchen," she muttered. Grabbing an aerosol, she sprayed another gremlin until it backed towards the microwave. Bang! She slammed the door and turned the oven full on. Billy arrived home to find his mother tangled in the wreckage of the family Christmas tree, desperately fighting off one of the gremlins. He grabbed the sword that hung on the wall and chopped off the green monster's head. But the gremlins weren't finished yet. Chair raced out of control and flung Mrs. Deagle straight out of the window at the top of the stairs. Billy's girlfriend Kate was in the front line against the Gremlins. Over at Dory's pub where she worked in the evenings, about 50 Gremlins had taken over the bar and a party was in progress. The little green monsters were having a whale of a time. They played the jukebox, skidding drinks across the tabletops, played poker and billiards, and threw peanuts all over the place. What with the drink and the cigars, they were soon out of control and started to turn very nasty. Kate was trapped, but she had figured out one thing. The Gremlins were frightened of bright lights. I know Dory's got a camera around here somewhere, she muttered to herself as she rummaged behind the bar. One of the Gremlins began banging his glass on the counter, demanding a drink. Snarling with impatience, he started throwing things at Kate's back. She spun round, camera in hand, and pointed the lens straight at him. As she pressed the trigger, the flashbulb flared, and all the Gremlins round the bar fell backwards. As Kate flashed the bulb again and again, the terrified shrieks of the Gremlins were almost deafening. She managed to beat a path through the door and throw it wide open. Thank heavens. There stood Billy, silhouetted in the doorway, the car headlights behind him. The Gremlins went berserk, falling over each other to seek out a dark corner. "Come on, Kate, hurry!" cried Billy. Together they ran to the car and leapt in. Billy turned the ignition key. "Oh, not now, please, not now," he begged as the engine coughed. "No! No!" yelled Billy. The Gremlin gave a victorious wave and threw himself into the inviting water. The last Gremlin had been destroyed.
Do you hear what I hear?